Hello and welcome to day 7 of Advent Calendar full of amazing Christmas story for you to listen this December. Um, I hope all of you will listen to the full story, give a like to the story, subscribe to my channel. It really helps me a lot. And until next story, as usual, stay safe. Peace.
Lisa Carter had always been a soldier. She had served her country with pride, with honor, and with a fierce dedication that few could match. She had been deployed countless times to Afghanistan, leading her platoon into dangerous missions and watching over her comrades like a guardian. Through it all, she kept a journal, a small notebook that was the only constant companion she had. In it, she wrote down her thoughts, her dreams, and her sorrows, especially on nights like Christmas Eve, when the longing for family and peace felt sharpest. Lisa hadn't celebrated Christmas with her family in years. The army had become her home, her brothers and sisters in arms had become her family. But deep down, she missed the warmth of home, the laughter, the smell of fresh pine, and the twinkling lights that seemed to chase away the darkness. One year, on a cold Christmas Eve night, Lisa sat under the dim light of her tent, writing in her journal. She wrote about the things she missed: her mother's gingerbread cookies, the crackle of the fireplace, the sound of Christmas carols filling the house. Just as she was about to close her journal, a distant explosion rocked the camp. The ground shook beneath her feet as alarms blared through the base. The terrorists had come, striking hard and fast. It was chaos, gunfire, shouting, the roar of explosions. Lisa fought with all her strength, but despite her best efforts, her platoon was overwhelmed. The attack claimed the lives of many of her comrades, leaving devastation in its wake. When the smoke cleared, Lisa was the only one left standing. Surrounded by the lifeless bodies of those she had once called family, something inside her broke. The weight of survival, the guilt of being the lone survivor, and the haunting memories of that Christmas night sent her spiraling into darkness. Lisa was relieved of her duties, diagnosed with severe post-traumatic stress disorder. She returned home, but the joy of Christmas never followed her back. Every year, as the world around her lit up with festive cheer, Lisa kept her house dark. No decorations, no Christmas tree, no carols. How could she celebrate, she thought, when all her comrades had died that night? There was no Christmas to celebrate anymore. Years passed, and Lisa remained isolated from the town's holiday celebrations. People would pass by her house and notice the absence of lights, the emptiness. But no one dared to ask why except for one little girl named Iwana. Iwana was a curious child, full of warmth and kindness. She lived a few houses down from Lisa and often wondered why the woman's house was always so quiet and dark, especially on Christmas. One year, when Iwana was just old enough to start asking the important questions, she decided to investigate. She knocked on the doors of neighbors, asking what they knew about Lisa. Slowly, she pieced together the tragic story, the loss, the trauma, the reason behind Lisa's cold distance from Christmas. Iwana, with the heart of a child who believed no one should be alone, decided to do something about it. On Christmas Eve, Iwana went from house to house in the small town, gathering her neighbors. She told them Lisa's story, how she had sacrificed so much for her country and lost so much more. The townspeople were moved by the little girl's plea, and soon, the whole community came together. That night, Lisa sat in her dimly lit living room, staring at the empty walls. Her journal lay untouched, the memories of her lost comrades still too heavy to bear. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Annoyed and confused, Lisa opened the door, expecting carolers or perhaps someone looking for directions. But instead, she was greeted by the entire town, standing on her doorstep. Each person held something in their hands: a candle, a Christmas decoration, a wreath, a tree. Someone had brought a turkey, another held Christmas pudding. Lisa's brow furrowed in anger. "What do you want?" she asked, her voice harsh with the years of pain she had carried. Before anyone could respond, Iwana stepped forward, her small face full of compassion. "No one should be alone at Christmas," she said softly. For a moment, Lisa stood frozen, her heart racing. The warmth and love of the community that had come to her doorstep was overwhelming. She had spent so many years in darkness, closing herself off from the world, but here they were, offering her light. Tears welled up in Lisa's eyes as the townspeople began to decorate her house. They hung lights, set up the tree, placed candles in the windows, and filled her home with the smells of Christmas dinner. They didn't ask for anything in return, they just wanted her to feel part of something again, to remind her that she was not alone. As the night wore on, Lisa felt something she hadn't felt in years, a glimmer of hope. For the first time since that terrible night, she allowed herself to smile, even if just a little. Sitting by the fireplace, with Iwana by her side, Lisa whispered, "Thank you." Iwana beamed up at her, her face glowing in the soft light of the Christmas tree. "Merry Christmas, Lisa." That night, for the first time in years, Lisa's house was filled with light, laughter, and love. It wasn't the Christmas she had once known, but it was a new beginning, a Christmas of healing, of community, and of hope. And in that moment, Lisa realized that Christmas wasn't about the decorations or the gifts, it was about the people who cared. And though her past would always be a part of her, the present was filled with the warmth of those who chose to stand with her in the light. The Christmas of light had finally come to Lisa's door.